Is that okay for an intro?
Yes,
do we know what we're doing now?
Did you follow that line for line?
No.
Okay.
So is everyone ready for the intro?
Go on, do the intro.
Welcome to Bald in Business, and it's a podcast where honesty and business wisdom comes. Get it? Here's the pun. Comes with a shine. And we're proud bald leaders of businesses in Sunderland and other areas. So whether you're growing a startup, managing a team, making the challenges of running a big company, or you're going bald and wondering what the future holds. We don't know what it's about, but we've been asked so many times if people can join Baldies Unite. So really a bit of background, what the hell is Baldies Unite? So I'll go to Paul because it was at a platform event that I don't know how we came up with it. I think there was so many bald men in the room, and I said something like, it's like a Baldy support group. And you said Baldies Unite.
I just shouted it out.
And then we started giving it that,
Yeah.
and all the Baldies in the room just congregated, and we just all loved it.
A group selfie of all
Group
the Baldies,
selfie,
and then,
yeah.
like you say, everybody wants to be part of it now.
Everybody, we're getting emails, we're getting
bigger.
messages on
Bigger all the
LinkedIn.
time,
Can we join? Can we join?
People shaving their heads.
People shaving their heads off. Yeah, exactly. It isn't a thing. Well, it bloody is now.
It is.
It's a thing now. So, just to introduce everybody, to my left we've got Chris Howell.
Hello, I'm Chris Howell. Oh, you said that.
Oh, I've said that. We've got Phil Gray.
Hi, I'm Phil Gray.
Let's do this.
We've got Paul Lancaster.
Hi, I'm Paul Lancaster. And I'm also a bald.
And we are
And I'm
bald.
John Forth, and we're all bald. That's the thing.
Generally bald.
We're generally
Although I've
bald,
been told I've got too much hair.
Yeah,
On the
yeah,
sides.
that's-
Borderline.
We want it skinned off. We basically want it skinned off.
Yeah.
We've got beards as well, so yeah.
No, that's
Oh,
all right.
we've got a
Is
beard
that all right? Is that a
policy.
qualified? Is that qualified? Still
I think
okay
Oh,
then?
yeah, all right.
yeah.
Sort of other hair's all right.
Below you, you're all,
Yeah,
as long as
any
you want.
hair. Below your ears, basically.
Right.
Above ears, it's out. Totally
Okay,
out.
all right.
So I've been asked to say that we are fully inclusive. So when we have guests, we want bald guests, but we can also happy to take female guests as long as they wear a bald skull cap.
And men can have hair.
And men can have hair as long as they wear a bald skull cap.
Yeah.
I think we've got a strict bald policy.
Yeah.
Whether that's
I can't wait.
artificially bald or
We should get
actually
swimming
bald.
caps.
yeah.
Skin colour, swimming
Skin colour, yeah.
Although I
exactly.
think there's enough bald people out there that we're
There is,
not going to have
there
any
is.
shortage
But
of
we want to
guests.
be inclusive. There's not that many bald women, is there? So we want to be inclusive. And we met. Here's one. We met a guy this morning. He was he'd exited his business for multi millions, and he really interested in becoming part of Baldies Unite. And I said, well,
10 grand will get him in.
10 grand will get him in. And he had a shaved head, and I said, well, you're deliberately bald. You've done that yourself. And he said, it's implants. What's our policy?
What, he
So he's trying to get out the club.
Implants.
He's trying to get out the club.
Now he
He
wants
wants
to
to
get back in it.
Everyone's back in, so he could have saved himself like 100 grand because that was a good implants.
I didn't realise it was
It was
implanted.
implants, mate. It was
good.
perfect.
Well,
And I said to him,
he's got a lot of money on him. So
he's got tons of
He's
money.
opened himself up to choice. So that's what
Yes,
he's
of course, he's keeping his options open, isn't he? So, and I was thinking, well, it's a bit too perfect. So I said, you must have paid a fortune for that. And like, it's not like Wayne Rooney, where Rooney's paid like 100 grand to look like he's going bald, does he? I mean, like, he's still in the mirror. When you get the mirror, am I going bald? He's still like that now, and like he's 100 grand into the Turkish barbers. So,
So John, you this morning tell a man he looks perfect.
his hairline was perfect.
Oh, right.
His implanted hairline was perfect. But I think he's going to just shave it off now because he wants to. This first episode is about being bald in business.
Bald in
Bald
Being
business.
brilliantly bald in business. Yeah, and so we're all business owners.
Yeah.
So let's have a little chat about what we're doing in our business.
Okay, so what we're doing in our business. So we are really new to Sunderland.
Yeah.
And we run a media company, Howell Media, and Sunderland was key, or a city was key for us for a new office. So it was going to be Middlesbrough, Sunderland, or Newcastle, and I visited them all and went to business events, and it was obvious Sunderland was the place to be. And I'm not just saying it. Well, it's obvious Sunderland was the place to be for our business where we are. And I really, I've never experienced such a vibrant, inclusive, open business environment in my whole career.
Yeah, lots of bold people around.
And lots of board people around.
Yeah.
But particularly, I'll tell you what's unique about our setup. I mean, obviously a lot of people know what we do, but basically we principally make films. So we make films for all types of organisations. If it moves, we film it. We do loads of event filming, and we also do training and coaching. So the sales pitch is in there.
Yeah.
But what I would say about Sunderland very briefly is I've never experienced a business environment where your natural competitors are as keen to see you do well as they're not. There's no hint of kind of, oh, you're here to steal my business or whatever. I've never experienced that before. I've been at events where I've literally been sat with other people doing the same thing that we do, and they're giving loads of advice, loads of support. They're saying, have you tried this? Talk to this person. And that is unique. So yeah, I'm loving Sunderland.
Brilliant. All in Sunderland, Chris. Well done, well done.
Yeah.
And I totally get it, because, I'm part of the business community in Sunderland, and, there's a philosophy here. It's collaboration, not competition. And I think it's because there's so much going on. There's so many opportunities in Sunderland. The city is booming, and everyone wants to support each other, because we can see that we need to rise to that challenge. We've got all of the opportunities coming from Crown Studios, which is huge. I was speaking to Leo Perlman the other day, and he's also bald, so hopefully he'll be joining. He'll hopefully be joining in, and. We've got esports, we've got Music City, we've got 2 billion of development on the banks of the Weir there. So really exciting times in Sunderland. Amazing. Good. So talking about how great Sunderland is, Phil.
I was just sort of thinking, how do I approach this one?
We've got a Geordie Baldy in today. So
well.
Phil,
that could be a spin-off.
It should be a
Two Geordies.
You're in the middle.
I'm an adopted Mac.
Living in Sunderland, doing business in Sunderland.
Exactly.
Adopted Mac.
Exactly. I drink out of a I Love Sunderland mug every morning.
It was on LinkedIn. Yeah. So all good.
I was panicking a little bit there as to how I broached the whole fact that I'm from Newcastle. I've got back up as well off Paul.
So Phil, tell us about your business, which is also my business.
Yeah. So it is you. We're sort of executive coaching. So we work with people, personal and business development. And actually, I mean, I'm getting around with this quite quick, but something that I find is actually being bold has helped in that role is the fact of when well, we all know it's, I'm not going to somebody is you've gone through that bit of like, is my hair thin in that little bit of confidence sort of like crisis and all that sort of stuff. And you get to the point of just accepting it, getting on with it. And actually it gives you a tool that's sort of going forward. You're a little bit like, well, it is what it is. I am who I am still. And you've got that skill to do that. And you can sometimes recognise in people when they're facing certain things and challenges that they've got an element of self-doubt. That, I mean, I don't turn around and go, oh, this is what I felt like, but it's something that you learn, that you can then work with people on how they don't feel the lack of confidence or the impact.
Yeah. Nice point, yeah. It builds character and resilience, doesn't it?
Absolutely does.
Yeah.
Before Paul says his bit, just a quick question. How old were you when it finally went? How old were you when you said, right?
Are you saying fine, like
when you said actually,
when you embraced it, shave off?
Shave off.
21 for me.
We met in 1990. And he had it, and it was a quiff, but it didn't last long.
It was Elvis proportions, like, wasn't it? It was. My dad's got hair like Elvis, and he's 86. I mean, like, that was traumatic, because I just thought, that's my birthright, that's where I'm headed. It wasn't, man. It wasn't.
That was
You're
picturing 21, 22.
Yeah.
Mine's, I would say, probably similar sort of age. I'd had that bit with school when I had a centre part. Talking about the centre part and quite long hair, but you'd start to see the gap in the centre part. It was starting to become a little bit more apparent.
You were behind me though. You were behind me. I was.
Yeah.
When we were going to sort of Malia and having all these lads' holidays, and I had the cap on before you had a little red stripe up there. Well, mine would have been a bit bigger than that.
Yeah.
So Paul, go on.
Probably mid or to late 20s for me, I think. But
a late loser.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, I do remember though. I remember when I was at university. So all through school, I had like slick back hair, like a Don Corleone gangster style. That was my look. Or I had a quiff with like shaved everywhere, or undercut. I had all kinds of strange haircuts. Right, never really liked my hair. But then I wanted to shave my hair off, but my parents wouldn't let me. But so when I did, I love it now. But I remember going to university and I sort of reinvented myself and just like cropped all my hair by choice just to shave it short. But I remember looking in the mirror in a bar toilet or something and noticing that there was like when the light was shining down, like the peaks, like the devil horn type thing. I was like, I'm like receding.
It's happening.
And I never noticed that. So that was in
You never look back.
21, 22.
Well, mine, like the time when I really went down to the boards was, I see my wife, because we've been there 20 odd years, her brother was living with us doing his PhD in Newcastle, and he was living with us, and I had some clippers, and he'd been trimming, he'd sort of like taken the guard off, trimmed his sort of sides and stuff like that, and I'd been out for a run, got back in, grabbed them, and just, and you know, it bite in, and you know it's really, I was like, that's not, and I just had this strip, and it was like a blue,
like a reverse.
it was like a blue strip, like that.
First
I
taxi
just thought,
driver.
no, like that.
Never
So
had
I
any
was like,
sunlight.
well, I'm gonna have to do it now.
Yeah.
And I did the whole lot, and I had to get into work. And at that point in time, I was training loads. I was really sort of like quite skinny, and I phoned her with a blind panic going, I'm going to have to work. My head looks blue. I'll just look ill. Like, what am I going to do? That's when mine actually.
That's when it went.
Well, you know. Sorry, just quickly. I'll just say, you know,
didn't
like
introduce yourself.
I
that's all.
didn't.
Oh, we have to talk about it. Anyway, we're going to get wrong off Izzy because Izzy.
Because we're halfway in, but we haven't done the intro.
We are. We haven't really done the intro
Well,
yet.
then, finish the intro.
I did say Baldies business.
Never gonna.
Three of the words that she gave us.
So Paul,
I'll quickly say.
You quickly say who you are,
Well,
and then
Paul,
we'll do
obviously,
the intro.
Paul Lancaster. So I do a weekly event now called Platform in Sunderland,
Which is
Newcastle, Middlesbrough, and Edinburgh. And then I'm doing the big UK Startup and Scale Up Week Festival in Sunderland in June. So yeah.
Brilliant,
very
and
exciting
it's
times.
brilliant. I mean, you know, talking about the community in Sunderland, the business community, like Platform is smack bang in the middle of it, and we've all spoken at Platform, and we're all speaking at UK Startup Week, and it's going to be really exciting.
Yeah, it's
I
bringing
can't
it all
wait,
together.
can't
Well,
wait.
I think like obviously you've come here, but you were already looking at new places to go. But I think I was selling you the vision of Sunderland when we first met. But you've seen, but then you came and you saw for yourself.
Yeah,
didn't
it
you?
was. I tell you what, we were after. We were after life. We were after because we've still got a presence in Barnard Castle, but with respect to my friends and colleagues in Barnard Castle, it's not hard to be the biggest media company in Barnard Castle. You've got to own a camera, and that's basically it. But in reality, we needed somewhere that was on the up and had that vibrancy, and this is so far exceeded my expectations.
Perfect.
Amazing.
Perfect.
Well done.
I think that's it. We have to challenge ourselves, or we just get stuck in a comfort zone. Camera, sorry. And being the biggest fish in the pond isn't the answer.
No.
Putting yourself in a bigger pond where you can aspire and learn from people who are bigger than you, or businesses bigger than you. It's really important, and I find that through the networking events, there's always someone who's maybe doing better than you or at a different level than you, and you can learn so much from them because it's constant learning, isn't it? And that's what makes you grow and succeed.
And I don't know if just a quick question then. So because I was in a meeting this morning, which was really interesting with the local MP, and basically we were talking about like how to define success, and the general consensus in the room was success used to be easily definable. It was basically Bentley, loads of money, big house, done.
Yeah.
And now people in the room saying, well, success for me means I work 3 days a week.
Yeah.
Success for me means I get to pick my kids up. Success for me means that I'm achieving what I want to do. Perhaps doesn't particularly mean like financial success, but I'm doing something I love. I'd be interested to see what everyone thinks.
Tell you what it is, Chris. I've worked with people who've had the Bentleys, the massive houses, and and they've been miserable and unhappy,
Yeah.
and spent a lot of time working with them about actually what is it that they want to be happy.
Yeah.
And those other things are trappings. I know it sounds
Yeah, that's a
really
good-
cheesy that it's
Yeah.
the trappings, but actually when you physically are there with people who do have like yachts, all of this, and just being like, well, actually, yeah, right, get rid of that, and what is it that I want? What is it? Where's that purpose and fulfillment of what I'm going to get? So success, and it's one of the things we say to people when we start working with them, is what does success mean to you?
And we've got a framework to actually identify what success means to you, because we work with CEOs who on the face of it look the most successful people you've ever met, but they can't have got that success without focusing almost totally on their career or their business or whatever it is. And they've neglected other areas of their lives: health, fitness, family, friends, relationships, whatever it is. So part of what we do in Is This You is we take a holistic approach and look at life and business together, and we try and balance it all out and get success in every aspect of life, whatever success means to you. And that's really the first question we ask.
I think that's a key thing, getting people to understand what is what's their own definition of success, and not are they just living up to other people's idea of what's successful? Because that's where your problems are, isn't it? If you're trying to live up to what your parents want or your friends or people around you, and then you get there and you're like, actually, this isn't what I wanted.
Exactly.
I mean, I don't have a Bentley and I don't have a yacht,
No.
and I'm not mega rich, but I'll do all right, and I'm
You're
happy.
living-
I'm fulfilled. I love what I'm
fulfilled
doing.
life.
I have a great life.
Yeah.
I every week I go home. Well, every day. I'm like,
You were once a week.
Once a week.
I
No,
say
that's
it,
me, Paul.
no, but I say it to my partner. I'm like, I've got a great life.
Yeah.
Yes,
brilliant.
I'd like a bit more.
Isn't
money,
it amazing?
But
Yeah.
I have a great life.
But nobody's ever going to have everything. Look at lottery winners. How miserable some of them become and are. And it's having a balance and knowing what you love and living your dreams and your passions. And I think it's so important to have that. And I mean, I know I have, and I know Phil, obviously we've known each other many, many years, but we've had very successful businesses, but realised it's not for us.
Yeah.
And as it was only 4 years ago that I exited a successful business because I had no passion and motivation for it. And I took a leap and a risk and built a life I absolutely love. And so I think success is like jumping out of bed on a morning, happy to be doing what you're doing, and it's something like that anyway.
Yeah.
I'm having it, like I was saying just before when I had, like, my eldest's doing his A-levels, the middle one's doing his GCSEs, and they're very different in the sort of things we want to do. The middle one's he's good at football. It's the odds are slim to none, but he wants to have a go, and it's like, well, look, son, if that's what you want to do, go for it. Back yourself and go for it. And you're doing something you enjoy, have a go. Have a backup plan. Let's not just throw all your eggs in that particular basket, but have a backup plan and give it a go. And if you can do something you really enjoy doing, brilliant.
Fantastic.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
So I've got a question.
Oh.
What is your boldest business move to date?
Boldest.
Boldest business move to date.
Boldest.
Sorry, I'm on a theme here. We're on a theme. Anybody who wants to go.
Okay, so we used to offer a whole load of services. So we were graphic design, we were social media management, we did web design, we did web hosting, we were a full service agency. And the boldest move I did was jettison 95% of the stuff we did, and we focused on the 5% that we do really, really, really well.
Yeah.
And we specialised as a business, and that's the boldest move and the single best move I've ever made.
Awesome. Yeah, because there's companies doing a bit of everything, but the focus and niching down is so important, isn't it? And focusing on what you do exceptionally well.
And that's it, because what we are is absolute. We mine a very, very narrow seam, but it's a seam full of diamonds. I know that sounds like
I like that, mate.
Trite,
Go for
trite
it.
nonsense, isn't it? But that's mine anyway.
Yeah,
That's
excellent,
my boldest
excellent.
I think mine's been saying no to quite a large organisation, and it was a large organisation where I knew it wasn't going to feel nice, and it wasn't going to. You were very much on the hook with them, and you're going to be chasing money. You're constantly going to be trying to be chipped away, and I just sort of thought, you know what it is, that's not what I want to be doing. I don't want to be sort of like just running after and turn into it. Just changed the way that I feel each day, and so I just said, you know what it is, no, I'm not going to go for that. And I mean, I've got no idea whether financially that could have led to more things or not, but I knew what I was getting into going into it, and I didn't want to do that.
Brilliant.
Very good. I think when I first started my own business, I'd spent many years wanting to be my own boss. I'd been in roles where I was helping other people start their own business, work for local enterprise agencies, youth enterprise schemes, all kinds of stuff like that. And then when I finally started my own business, I kept getting job offers. Like pretty much on a weekly basis, and it was really tempting to just, I'll take another job. But I just kept saying no to everyone, and eventually people stopped asking because they knew I was not going to take it. But like, I didn't have loads of money saved up. It was all like, I have to make this work. I have to make it successful, and I did. But I think that just total focus and complete belief in yourself as well, that you're going to make it work.
If you back yourself.
Back yourself.
Yeah,
And I think there's something around that as well. When you really into something, the energy around that attracts the right people to you when they know that you're really serious about what you're doing. And then once I was up and running, when I decided I was going to do the first Startup Week festival, I mean, what right did I have to put on a 5-day multi-venue citywide event for over 600 people? None. Do you know what I mean? But I just said, right, I'm going to do it. This is the date. I'm going to do it. I got invited to speak at an event full of business leaders about why the Northeast wasn't as successful as it should be. And I gave a presentation. And I said, and what it needs is this. And it was just, and the people were like, oh, this is amazing. How do we get involved? But I just put myself out there and committed to doing that thing. And that was it. I just made it work.
Absolutely.
How about you, John?
Yeah, for me, I mean, this dates back a long time when I was, I suppose, just the history of, I had a multi-million pound property business in 2008 with a credit crunch. I lost it all, and I built back up, and there's lots and lots of stories around that. But then I built it back up, and I focused just on the finance, and I kind of got the finance back to where I wanted it, and I had lost everything, so I rebuilt. But in COVID, I just got gripped by pure anxiety and stress, thinking it was all going to happen again, because all the warning signs were there, the same as in 2008. And I got at the point where I could hardly leave the house, really, to not agoraphobia. I mean, honestly, the confidence and everything had gone. I was just a shadow of myself, really, anxious all the time. And then I just decided, right, I want out of property altogether. It had too almost post-traumatic stress for me, out of property altogether, into what I didn't know what I wanted, but I'd been doing personal development for 10 years to try and get myself out of the hole that the 2008 crash had caused. And so I knew that, and I loved it, and I was so sort of engaged by it. And then I knew I wanted to help people. I knew I had tons of business experience. I mean, I've been in business for 30 years. And I built a life around. And as it happens, it's now the business is helping people in business, but also the framework that I'd built to get myself out of the hole and find my purpose and what really lights me up is working for others now. And so, you know, it's amazing. I'm pleased. I'm so pleased I did it. But I cut off everything. So that was a big business to cut. I went, took a huge cut in salary, joined the BIC. Best move I've ever made, because I wanted to be in the community and I wanted to support businesses. And then the next step was, how do I support people personally? And that's where Is This You's been born, and it's a fusion of the two.
Got even better when I joined, though, didn't it? Like,
well, it did, of course, it did. Well, yeah,
exactly. When another Baldy joined the team.
But the Baldy, that was the kernel of Baldies Unite, really. It was the seed. The seeds were sown. I was only bald bloke in the office. I was the only bloke in the office. When you came along, absolutely perfect. There was one other guy in the office, the CEO, but he's got hair. Yeah. He's got hair.
He's not one of us.
Not for long.
But Paul Mack will come into this, and he'll either wear the wig or he'll have a shave.
And I thought of a second one. Yeah. If I might have another bite of the cherry, the second one for me was putting my name on the business. Because in the creative industry, there's a thing where basically you take an animal and a colour. So you like purple otter or grey parrot or like orange dog or something. And over the years, we've dabbled with all that sort of stuff. And when I said, actually, I'm gonna put my name. It's my name on the business, and that was the other big move that
absolutely,
I did. Where we can't afford to cock up because it's literally I'm literally wearing that hat.
Yeah,
so that's my second.
And the name of that business is.
How
media.
So it's still like a wolf, is it? Like
it's good. So yeah, I mean, I know we took quite a while to get round to the intro there. And I know we're nearly on 3 o'clock, so it's getting on. Sorry about that. I forget it's there.
He doesn't need it. He talks.
And I think we wanted to just say, this is the very start of the Baldies Unite podcast.
It's like a pilot episode.
It is a pilot episode, and we're going to take it on the road to Startup UK Week. And
Get the name right.
We'll be having it. Sorry, Paul. The name is
UK Startup and Scale Up Week.
Exactly. Neil's not going to be happy with me, is he? But
right.
the
about the brand.
The intention.
There's any other venues as well on the road that charge up the solar panels, so we can
exactly. And if we had maybe a skull shaver or something of that nature, and I've heard there's some Bald Bro products now for sun damage and stuff.
Yeah. Maybe be a Happy Egg.
Yeah, maybe so. We're happy to promote, but obviously we need to try the products before we can promote fully. And now when people say, can I join Baldies Unite, and email us and send us message on LinkedIn,
there's somewhere to point them.
There's somewhere to point them. Is at the podcast. Do you want to come on the podcast? So we want to see proof of baldness or love of baldness, and we also want a story.
I saw JP the other day post something. It was a photo of him, and the tagline was pink and bald, and I thought there's something a bit rude about it.
The caveat that we're going
JP wants in. I mean, there's so many people who've asked if they can come on and things like that. So yeah, it's a mixture of it's business, it's entrepreneurialism, it's baldness, and it's a bit of fun.
I was just thinking something before, right? Samson lost his strength when he had his hair cut.
Yes.
I feel stronger.
Absolutely.
You've gained strength.
Yeah, when I shave my hair off. That gives me
100%.
confidence, and I definitely feel more ready for the world when I've shaved my hair.
Absolutely.
Do you feel the same when you?
That's actually that really is like so. Without this isn't a shameless plug or anything like that, but our company name Is This You was about the fact that a lot of people wear masks, and it's like, look, let's take the mask off and get to know you. It's not everything's great, and that bit when you do have that where your head's thinning and you look, that's that little what I was saying earlier. You've got that lack of confidence and it's just like. Right, look here. Let's get rid of that. Yeah. Let's get rid of that thing that's sort of like being I'm not sure. It gives you the uncertainty. And here I am. And that's it. Embracing it.
It is. It sets you free. So you drop the ego. Just drop the mask and just become you. Become you. Is this you? And that's where it comes from. And I've gone through a journey. I hadn't done a social media post 3 years ago. I had never put myself out there, and this year it was all about. The last couple of years is all about putting myself out there.
Why was that?
The anxiety really hit Paul. I mean, it was really bad.
I used to do
it was really bad.
Events and it'd be, social media. No, I'm not going on that. No.
Yeah, I mean,
now try and keep them off it.
Keep us off it. They're sick of seeing this, aren't they? But I just started to say yes to everything as long as it was aligned with where I wanted to go and what I wanted to do. And now, well, it's another story, all the things I'm involved in now. But yeah, I'm properly out there. So, thanks for listening to this episode of Baldies Unite, Bald in Business. This was a special edition brought to you by Howl Media, the team behind Looks Like We Made It. There you go. So... Happy for shameless plugs. No problem at all. And they're on the walls as well. Don't be worried about shameless plugs. So check out Howl Media. Check out Is This You. Check out
UK Startup and Scale Up Week.
I got it right.
Shameless plugs. There's no hair plugs involved. There is
no hair plug.
No hair plugs. So drop us a comment or message. Let us know if you want to be on the podcast. Let us know if you want to be part of Baldies Unite, and tell us what your story is. And your love of baldness.
Have we got a hashtag for Baldies Unite?
It's hashtag Baldies Unite. Hashtag Baldies Unite.
Is it Baldies Unite or what United?
Unite, but I did like United because Izzy said United. United, and I thought, oh, I like that. No,
I think it's Unite.
Baldies
I
Unite,
like Unite,
and
yeah,
we've
yeah,
got
yeah.
Less
we've
football,
registered
less football, and more
less football.
come
Yeah,
together.
yeah. We have to bring football at some point though. we've
Well,
got we've
I
got
try not to mention it around you, you know.
It's all around you.
it's everywhere. It's not Forest here, so
Forest as well.
we've got.
You can't say nuts.
Is that Notts County?
That's
Nottingham
the-
Forest.
That's the other
Nottingham
side. That's the
Forest.
other side of the river.
Yeah. Nottingham Forest. Sorry about that.
Oh, sorry.
Well,
about
that you couldn't.
I'm
that'd be the.
upset.
That'd be the equivalent.
It's only episode
I've
one.
never seen Chris upset.
Yeah, I it's only episode one.
Yeah, they're never nuts. Never.
Brilliant. So, get in touch. Tell us if you want to be on the podcast, and we'll be back in touch with you.
Great. Thank you.
Cheers.
Baldies
And shall we end up with Baldies Unite?
Baldies Unite.